Hey guys, so as LR Final Form Cooler's strongest soldier, I am really obligated to no item every single stage in the game without him at least on the team, or at least die trying in doing so. And since Global finally got some new events in the Majin Buu Saga Red Zone, I decided to take Cooler into all of these new stages and at least try to no item them with him with varying levels of success. First, I tried to no item all of these stages with his own team, but since his own team is terrible at this point, I didn't really get too far. Actually, the only stage I managed to no item with Cooler's team was the Babidi Forces stage, and I almost came close to also no iteming the Red Zone Buuhan stage, but I just continued to get really bad luck. So yeah, for the other stages, I used other teams that Cooler is on and no item, or at least try no iteming those that way. For this stage, I brought Cooler's team, like I said, and it doesn't really have a lot of options, so let's just quickly go over them. Of course, Cooler is the lead, I have to use them. I also brought STR Cooler, he should be fine, at least in this stage, because these stages honestly not even that difficult, and also the final phase is physical, so he should be kind of okay. I also brought Hirudegarn, the #1 fraud in the game. Basically, Hirudegarn of course is a really good slot 1, or would be a really good slot 1 if he was actually reliable. And Cooler's team of course is in desperate need of a really good slot 1 unit. The thing is, especially when I use Cooler's team for some reason, Hirudegarn just decided to just never dodge, ever. And that was of course really unfortunate. I also brought Piccolo Jr. because he's a really good damage dealer still. And just his giant form is still just such a good team protector mechanic for this team. Of course, I would have liked if we had better options for team protector mechanics, but it is what it is. I also brought Vegeta and Nappa. They could also be pretty good in the stage because they have an AoE. They can do their active skill on turn 3 where they are invincible for 1 turn. And also, I mean, you saw what happened in the first turn where Android 13 just got massacred in slot 1 and I just lost almost all of my HP. At least if Vegeta and Nappa transform, I heal off that shit back up, you know. So that's really good that I at least have some way to heal myself. And then also for the final slot, I brought Android 13 because technically the stage is not that short, so 13 should be able to stack a little bit, but he didn't really do a lot in this run, honestly. At least he supports Target Goku, which of course Piccolo Jr. and Cooler are on, but he wasn't really the greatest. But I mean, who else am I supposed to bring, you know? That's just the way Cooler's team is at this point. It's just so many units that are completely useless at this point because they got power crept like ages ago. And all the good new units that Cooler's team would have aren't on global right now. Like for example, First Form Frieza could actually help on this team. LR Broly would also be a huge help actually. Broly Cheerio would be a huge help. Even Integral and Frieza could help at least somewhat. But all of these options are not available right now. So yeah, this wasn't exactly fun to do, let's just say that. Cooler himself, I mean at this point his damage is really nothing special anymore, and especially early in the fight he is just terrible. Like he just doesn't do any damage, especially if he is without a Big Bad Boss's character, and he needs to build up desperately to reach acceptable defense levels. Like here on this turn he actually looked pretty good. He actually went to town on Deborah and Babidi, but these bosses that hit really hard early on can just massacre this guy. So yeah, at least I got rid of Deborah fast. That's of course the most important thing because Babidi himself isn't really all that threatening. And once I'm done with this phase, I mean the last phase isn't really a threat with this team because it's physical, and Cooler is of course STR and can just nuke it with his Supernova. Here he supered actually Piccolo Jr., but it doesn't really matter because Piccolo Jr. is just so busted anyway. And Cooler finishes off this little midget, and now we are going up against Babidi and Buu, which like I said aren't really that tough. The candy changing is actually really annoying, especially with a team like this, but it's fine. Of course I'm activating Cooler's active skill. Thankfully he has Big Bad Bosses with the Hirudegarn at least, so he should be able to do some good damage, right? How much did this do? Oh yeah, 30 million, that's pretty good. 2 health bars already gone. Yeah, I put Hirudegarn slot 1 because, I mean, that's his best slot, obviously. I also activated Nappa's active just so in case he gets sniped by Super in the last slot. You never know these stages, and Rudegan basically is dodge or die in this stage, unfortunately, and he doesn't really do a lot of good damage, even though he gets crit chance in slot 1, I think. Yep, there it is. At least he does a couple of supers, that's good. But yeah, Rudegan is really unreliable. Thankfully he dodged this. I think actually his 100% dodge chance was active this turn, right? I wasn't paying attention to this, but he probably was this, because usually I'm not this lucky with Rudegan, let's just say that. At least Cooler is doing some good damage against them. A lot of crits, actually. Okay. Unfortunately, no additional super ball. Dude, look at that. He still takes damage, actually. That was... yeah, he really isn't that good defensively anymore. I mean, he never was, like, the ultimate tank god or anything. That just wasn't his role ever. But at least back then, his damage could be... or his defense could be good enough to tank most attacks relatively fine. But at this point, it's just not good enough anymore. And unfortunately, he tags Android 13 with a super, and thankfully, because my team has so much HP, I actually survived that shit. But yeah, not exactly the best performance by Android 13 here. Like I said, if I had better options, I would have, of course, used them. I also tried Ella Baby, I think, in this stage, but his giant form is just so unreliable, and oftentimes it happened that it activated on turn 2 because I got slaughtered on turn 1. And then the giant form is just completely useless, and then Baby himself isn't really all that great. But yeah, that was Red Zone Babidi's forces. Next is Red Zone Super Buu. Yeah, I actually didn't even attempt this with Cooler's team because, I mean, Super Buu is AGR and he does an AoE against an SDR unit that sucks pre-super. What do you guys think happens in that scenario? Of course, Cooler would just get decimated. So I decided to run Piccolo Jr.'s team. So I at least have 2 giant forms available against this AoE bullshit, because that's honestly the only way I can actually survive this. Who else did I bring? I also brought Hachiak, actually, who is also a giant form character, and he's tagged, so he shouldn't at least get one-shotted, I think. I also brought Tech Vegeta, because Tech Vegeta is on Piccolo Jr.'s team, and he's of course really good. I also brought SCR Super Vegeta, which might confuse some of you. The reason I did this is because Super Vegeta isn't exactly the greatest unit defensively, and I actually want to take a lot of damage to be able to fall below 60% HP so I can transform to Piccolo Jr. And I don't remember if I actually can do this, or if Super Vegeta actually takes a lot of damage. I don't remember that. But I mean, he himself also does a lot of damage, and against Super Buu, you can't really afford to drag this fight out for too long. You have to snipe it as soon as possible. Yeah, okay, Super Vegeta actually dodged that. I think that was actually a good thing that he did that. I don't think he would have survived this. But yeah, Tech Vegeta, of course, is a really good unit that can go in slot 1. And who else did I bring? Oh yeah, Fat Buu, of course, just for the revive and the Ghost Usher. My goal with him was to die as soon as possible so I can have the Ghost Usher ready against Super Buu. And he's just a good insurance to have. Like, Piccolo Jr.'s team is actually pretty good at this. Well, is it really good? I mean, it's good compared to Cooler's team, I guess. But I wouldn't call his team top tier or anything. But it's definitely better. It's definitely better than it was like 6 months ago or something. Like, all these busted Vegeta units really help Piccolo Jr. actually. And I don't even have Evolution Blue Vegeta's EZA because, you know, global. But of course he would also be a huge help. And look at Piccolo Jr. just going ballistic on Evil Blue. Holy shit. Yeah, that's what Piccolo Jr. does. I don't remember. Is Hachiak actually gonna finish him? Okay, yeah, no. Not with a 1 million text status. Yeah, but Piccolo Jr. was really good this turn. Definitely. What did I actually do this turn? Did I put Fat Buu in slot 1? No, okay. Yeah, that was a good choice because... No, did I? Okay, I actually did that, okay. I guess I was really banking on him dying or something. Well, at least he took a lot of damage so I could actually, you know, do the thing, the giant form. That's good, I guess. So yeah, now Piccolo Jr.'s giant form is active. I will of course skip this because there's not really much to explain here, just do as much bad damage as possible, guys, in this state. Really not that difficult to use this. Yeah, since he's actually incapable of doing supers, I'm pretty safe in this rotation. And I think STR Super Vegeta, he guards for the first 2 turns he's on, right? So he should still be guarding. So I am actually safe if I put him in slot 1, but of course I put Tech Vegeta in slot 1. That was definitely the better choice, I think. And unfortunately, I don't think it was the best idea to actually, heal all that much with Piccolo Jr., but at the same time, he wasn't around next turn anyway, because I rotated him off, so I guess it didn't really matter. I'm not really sure what I'm doing the next turn. I mean, Tech Vegeta does a lot of damage, of course, because he's just really busted. Super Vegeta also does a lot of damage next to Tech Vegeta, like 50 million I think that was. Guaranteed crit, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Yep, another one. Like, I mean, I won't say that Tech Vegeta is like underrated or something. He definitely has his problems, and I wouldn't call him the best TOR by a long shot. But I'm not acting like he's complete fodder either, you know. He has his uses. And he's not complete trash, like, for example, AGL Bardock. Like, I would call him like 50 billion times worse than Super Vegeta. He should have been better though, I think. Okay, yeah, Super Buu is almost completely dead after just 1 turn. Yeah, that's the one thing about Super Buu, you can kill him pretty easily. He doesn't have a lot of HP. Yeah, I'm actually transforming with Hachiak to abuse his giant form. Unfortunately, his giant form is only for 1 turn, which really sucks. I also not skipping this because, I mean, when was the last time that you saw Hachiak's animations? For me, I don't think I've ever used Hachiak before, not gonna lie. So this was actually the first time I saw this. But sure. Okay, and he actually supers, so that's basically wasted. He can't do that again next turn. So I'm completely safe, basically. Of course, his damage isn't really all that special. I mean, it's Hachiak. But, yeah, all that matters is that the super is out of the way. And I think I put Fat Buu in slot 1, and yeah, exactly, and just let myself get killed, so I can revive and then just finish him off with Vegeta next turn. Yeah, bye, thank you, dumbass. Dude, imagine if most villain teams had a reliable revive option, how good these teams would be. Like, Fat Buu's revive is really good, but I wish we would have a team-wide revive, you know, like AGL UI Goku or Evolution Blue Vegeta, stuff like this, you know. But of course, I mean, villains have to suck in this game, and which I guess we should be happy that we even got Fat Buu, I guess. Okay, and Vegeta, I think, is finishing Super Buu off. I don't think he's gonna survive that. Yeah, bye. So yeah, that was Red Zone Super Buu. Like, with this team, it was actually pretty easy, not gonna lie. But like I said, I also didn't try this with Cooler's team because, there's no point. I mean, who even run on Cooler's team? It has like no good tech units. Okay, so now against Red Zone Buuhan, like I said in the beginning, I also tried this a lot with Cooler's team because it's not the worst against this stage because a lot of these phases are physical, which of course Cooler has good type coverage in. The thing is, I just got so ridiculously unlucky constantly that I just couldn't beat it. One time I was really close, actually. I got until Buff Buu actually and almost had him killed. But then he just supered, I think, I don't know who he supered, but he just one-shotted me basically. And yeah, this using Cooler's team against this stage made me realize just how fucking annoying this stage actually is. Like, this whole super sealing constantly, of course, always against the unit that needs to stack. The rotation locking and some bullshit like this. Like, when I ran Cooler's team, for example, I used, of course, Hirudegarn in slot 1, who kept dying, by the way. Like, you would think that Cooler was the reason I got killed the most. It was actually Hirudegarn. Like, the amount of supers this guy ate was actually ludicrous. I had one run where he always dodged the normals and always ate the supers. Like, 5 turns in a row and then he just died. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so Hirudegarn was in slot 1, and then on the other rotation I had Amount of and Raisin, who are actually not bad. Like, they did their job fine enough, but the thing is, Buu tanks in the third phase will will rotation lock you. So what usually happens is, since you can't really rotate off Amount of Raisin, you have to keep them in slot 1, and the moment they get sealed or you know, locked in a different slot, it's basically over for them. And that's what always happened. And like I said, once again, Cooler doesn't really have a lot of other options for slot 1, so that's the best I could do. And at some point I just decided I had enough and switched to Rudegan's team, where I at least could use some of these really broken Majin Buu units, like Kid Buu for example, Evil Buu and also Fat Buu, and that worked way better. I could also thought about using Majunia's team again, but Majunia's team wouldn't really work that well against this stage because of all the constant damage you are eating, which means you would usually or probably read or activate the giant form in moments you don't really want it to. So I decided to just not bring Majunia at all and just focus on Rudegan instead, and just pray that he doesn't suck and actually dodge for God's sake, which he does in this run at least. Yeah, for some reason if I use him as a lead, he just performed better. Well, whatever. And also, since I could run Rudegan's lead with Resurrect Warriors, I at least could run some of the really good Buu units, which of course helped healing all of this damage up that I constantly eat through this entire run. And yeah, this definitely worked a lot better. Of course, this fight still took ages to finish because this fight is really long and really annoying, like I said. Good thing is once you're past Buuhan, the fight becomes a lot easier. Buu is just really annoying in the first phase. He's just really weak and kind of annoying because of his stupid ceiling. In the third phase, he's a bit stronger, but still mostly just really annoying with his rotation locking. And then Buu Piccolo isn't really all that difficult and doesn't really have a lot of HP either. And Buff Buu actually can hit really hard, but the thing is, he also can die ridiculously fast. So yeah, and also I also brought once again SDR Cooler because at least he can stack up in this stage. And he's also able to attack lower Buuhan, which of course really helps because Buuhan hits really hard. And yeah, this basically speaks for itself. Who else did they also bring? Yeah, Evil Buu, like I said, another good Majin power unit that you can run on Rudegan's team. Rudegan also does a lot of damage right now, holy crap. Yeah, I guess that's also thanks to Kid Buu's support. Yeah, I only started attempting this stage when Kid Buu got his super easy A. Yeah, Kid Buu's super easy A is just so busted, dude. He's basically a must run on every single team you can run him on. He's just that good. And of course, Rudegan being able to run him is a massive W for him, definitely. Like Rudegan's team also got buffed a lot in this celebration. Like I still stand by my villains suck video. Like just having one good villain team now doesn't help at all for villains. It's definitely a start, but it's not like it doesn't change everything or something. But I mean, these Majin Buu teams definitely help villains a lot, dude. And also, thankfully, they weren't stupid enough this time to restrict them to Majin Power all the time, where they're only functioning on this one team and are completely worthless outside of it. Like, all of these units can be ran outside of Majin Power, dude. It's maybe not tech change Buu, but Fat Buu definitely works without Majin Power units. Kid Buu definitely does, as long as you have Big Bad Bosses characters around. And even Buuhan, I mean, he works on every team, dude. He's just so good. So yeah, at this point I'm just whittling him down. I thought about using Cooler's Supernova, but honestly, what's the point? He was so low HP already anyway, and then I can at least use the Supernova if I need to nuke one of the other phases. So yeah, here he does his annoying locking, and since I took damage, I couldn't actually transform into Super Buu with Evil Buu, which kind of sucks, not gonna lie. That's once again because why this stage is really annoying. But I mean, Evil Buu isn't some pussy, so it's fine. No. And also, since all of these units on this team are on transformation boost, you can also use Cooler, STR Cooler more effectively. He supports the entire team by 50%, and then Kid Buu supports by 70%. So yeah, the support on this team is actually pretty good. But unfortunately, I mean, STR Cooler is not really that good anymore. So a better support option, of course, would be appreciated. But it's fine, at least for this stage. Yeah, he actually locked Final Form Cooler in slot 3. That was pretty annoying, not gonna lie. I don't know why I used Majin Buu's active skill here. Probably because of all these attacks in slot 1, I was scared for Rudegan. because like I said, I had really bad experience with this guy. Yeah, I think that's why I did that. Yeah, but basically at this point I'm just whittling him down. Cooler, of course, without all of these freezer and cooler links, he doesn't hit that hard, unfortunately, but it's still good enough. I mean, he does a lot of good damage against physical Boojangs. Yep. And you don't want to stick around against this bastard for too long, because like I said, he's super annoying. And I wouldn't call this fight badly designed, definitely not. Zamasu is basically the gold standard when it comes to terrible boss design in this game, but this fight is just really annoying, you know, just very annoying, can be really frustrating, especially if you have bad luck constantly. So it is pretty toxic, not gonna lie, but I wouldn't call it badly designed, because you have ways to counter this. Okay, Cooler took this relatively well. I don't remember how high his defense was at this point, but it should be pretty high considering he supered a lot, and I'm like turned 12 already. Okay, so this annoying bastard is now dead. That's good. Okay, yeah, I'm floating off Kid Buu, I think. Exactly. Yeah, because I wanted to set up the turn against Buff Buu, where I have LR Final Form Cooler next to STR Cooler and Physical Kid Buu to just mega juice him basically. And I think I actually managed to accomplish that rotation, right? Yeah, because I mean Hirugan is of course not killing Evil Buu. What a shocker, I know. And but he does a lot of damage actually. Yeah, but like I said, the last two phases aren't really all that difficult. Or all that tanky. I think Kid Buu could actually finish him off. Okay, he would have finished him off actually if he did an additional, but he didn't, but whatever. Yeah, I'm putting Cooler in slot 1, the SDR one, because he has the higher defense at this point, and even if Buu Piccolo is supered, I don't think I would have gotten one-shotted. Yeah, see? It was still pretty close though, not gonna lie. I actually wish that Cooler would have super more than once, but whatever. Yeah, but I do remember that actually happening. I was actually really pissed when that happened, because I really thought it was curtains for me, but thankfully Cooler was tanky enough to survive this at least. I don't remember, does he kill Fat Buu here? I think so, right? Yeah, keep supering, go dude. Yeah, okay. Still 1.1 million, even though Fat Buu supered. But he didn't guard, so I guess that's because that's why. But yeah, and now brace yourselves, because Cooler is gonna do a lot of damage. Let's just say that. Yep, just a casual 30 million active skill. And now his Strath Key is also gonna hit ridiculously hard. Yep. Goodbye. Unfortunately, no crit. That would have been really funny as well. But yeah, that was Red Zone Buuhan. Now for Red Zone Kid Buu. Spoiler warning, I of course did not manage to beat this now item with Cooler. Because I mean, Kid Buu is just ridiculously hard to do it. Like, easily hardest fight on global. And because I don't really have all of the good units for Cooler's team, it's just not possible at this point. Maybe at some point I might revisit this fight once we get like Broly, AGL Frieza and stuff like this, but right now it's just not possible. Like, I tried a couple of times with Cooler, of course not on his own team, like, there's not even any point in doing that. I tried it with my junior's team though, because at least I have like Vegeta and Fat Buu and stuff like this, but still, it's just not possible, no iteming this stage. And unfortunately most of the time was because Cooler actually got killed in the first phase. Because this STR Kid Buu is not a weakling, he actually does hit pretty hard on his normals, at least for like 600k or something. And Cooler, like I said at the beginning of the fight, is just not good defensively. And I also got really, really unlucky constantly with Skyloot. Like, I would post a compilation after this where I just get destroyed trying to no item the stage with this team, and let's just say Cooler was responsible for like 80% of my deaths in this team. In this team, but with items this stage is really not that difficult. I used the big Getty Star robot item that delays It's basically a Ghost Usher, and then also reduces attack by 66%, which of course is really good against Kid Buu since his attack can be lowered. And then my strategy was to put Majin in slot 1. So he also does his, I think, 30% damage or attack reduction. So stacked with that item, it's at 96% damage or attack reduction. So even if you build up Kid Buu with all your attacks, it is not really gonna hurt you, you know. And that's actually this item just completely breaks this fight. Like if you use this item, it's really not that difficult. Like I actually managed to try this with this item. I also brought, of course, Fat Buu again because I wanted to have at least some option against the revive. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, his super attack is always his strength action. And if you, for example, die earlier, like for example, if I had Fat Buu on slot 1 or on turn 1 and he would have died there before Kid Buu can do his 10 attacks in turn 1, then on turn 2 he cannot super. He always needs to do 19 attacks before he supers, and if he can't do his 19 attacks for some reason, for one reason or another, then he doesn't super. So as long as you have a revive unit on your team and it isn't locked in slot 7, you will basically not, you don't have to fear his countdown super, basically. So yeah, here I activated this item. That was the correct choice. I also brought Vegeta and Nappa because they can attack Laura. Unfortunately, that was my mistake. I should have done the 12 key with Vegeta and Nappa because on the 18 key they actually don't lower attack. So that was actually my goal here. I actually wanted to lower his attack a little bit so I can actually get the ball rolling basically, but unfortunately that didn't work out the way I wanted to. And now I just basically try to do as much damage as possible and get Kid Buu to finish this bastard off as soon as possible. Because this is definitely not a fight where you can afford to drag this out for too long. But yeah, the fact that I can even use Cooler still 2 years after he released and can no item at least most stages is pretty impressive considering how shit this team is. And unlike, for example, the year 7 LRs that released around his time on global at least, he is not protected by like 50 billion units that are 10 times better than him. He has to do most of it by himself. But of course, I mean, this fight is just a complete hard counter to Cooler. Like Cooler would actually be a pretty interesting option in this if Kid Buu didn't nullify unarmed super, which at this point, actually, I'm starting to resent that he does this because it just basically completely screws over so many units for no reason and also takes a lot of strategy out of this fight, you know. I wish they wouldn't have done that, honestly. But yeah, at least Cooler's 12 key is not an unarmed super, so at least does damage this way. And actually, this is actually one of these times where I'm actually happy that Cooler did like no additional super. So at least he did a little bit of damage against Kid Buu. But now I am activating, or I will activate Fat Buu's Ghost Usher. Not only because, of course, I want to delay his attacks, no shit. I also want to delay his healing as far as possible. Because, like I said, you need to outdamage him quickly. You can't drag this out for too long. Unfortunately, Vegeta doesn't really do a lot in this run. I'm getting pretty unlucky with his crits and stuff, but I mean, Majin is still good enough damage-wise. So these are basically my two main damage dealers on this team because, like I said, Cooler is just completely neutral in this stage. Only his 18 key does damage, and I mean, Cooler's way of doing damage is by peppering the opponent with 50 billion 12 key supers combined with his 18 super, and if he can't do that, then of course he's just not really that good. So yeah, I will also definitely try doing this again once the Supreme Battle Spectacle stages drop on global. I don't know how far I will get with Coolers, not gonna lie, but at least then I will have Brody and hopefully Brody Trio and in Golden Frieza, and maybe also AGL Frieza if he comes out before the anniversary, which at this point nobody knows. Like, we have no idea what the hell Global Dokkan is doing at this point. We are supposed to be synced by the end of the worldwide celebration because they said they would do this by the end of summer, and I have like no idea how they're supposed to do this at this point because we are still like 2 Dokkan Fest behind JP, and then also the Tanabata LR. Yeah, The thing is, they took their sweet time doing this, like they announced this last year, and you would think with 1 year time they would plan this well enough so the sync would go smoothly, but then they just wasted so much time with so many dead weeks in this game for no reason that at this point it's just not feasible to do this sync nice and clean, you know. Okay, so now Vegeta's active. At least now he guaranteed crits, that's good. Cooler also crits on his active, which is also of course really good. And like I said, I'm trying to whittle Kid Buu down as much as possible, and also trying to damage him as fast as possible. At least Vegeta now guaranteed crits, so he does better damage than before. But unfortunately, he just doesn't do additional supers, so thank you Vegeta. Very well done. At least I still have Piccolo Jr., who does a lot of damage still. Okay, he could have done some more, but sure. Then Cooler gets his 18 key in. And then afterwards he can't really do anything anymore except buff Kid Buu, but at this point he took so many attacks anyway, so he's already fully built up anyway. And this turn might have been a little bit scary, but thankfully, like I said, Piccolo Jr. also reduces attack by 30%. The thing is, you are about to see how ridiculously hard Kid Buu hits at this point. Because keep in mind, his attack is lowered by 96%, and his super still does almost 200k HP. So you can imagine how hard this shit would have hit without the attack reduction. But thankfully, Piccolo Jr. is still a GOAT, and he manages to finish off Kid Buu. So yeah, that was Cooler against the Majin Buu Saga Red Zone. Like I promised, now here are some attempts with no items against the stage with Cooler. Yeah, enjoy the show. And see you all in the next video.